Hey guys, my name is Josh and welcome to Gunpla Showcase Episode 3, a show where you can submit and feature your Gunpla. But before we start off with this episode, I want to congratulate Tanapum for winning Gunpla Showcase Episode 2 and his Azeroth version Chrome. His clean and chrome finish of the Azeroth was a big hit to many Gunpla fans, so please check out Episode 2 to look at his work. With that aside, thank you so much guys for your patience for this episode, and without wasting any more time, let's begin. Up first, we have Mike's Psycho Ball version 00. The kit's used is the Master Grade Ball, Perfect Grade 00 Riser, and 160 scale Hyper Goof, the custom details, and his own LED work. With the many weapons and things going on with this kit, let's start off with my favorite part, the weapons. GN drives are essentially overpowered engines with multiple functions, and it can do so many things. It can create and use GN particles and ultimately go Trans-Am. And now that I see two of them powering up the rifles, that would just be overpowered. And remember Setsune's 00 Trans-Am sword? Yeah, that would be just like that. But let's look at closely at the weapon. His custom details and paint really does show good craftsmanship and imagination, though nothing much is groundbreaking. I really like the thought that's been put into this. And speaking of craftsmanship, let's talk about the Gundam itself. The Gundam is based on the Perfect Grade 00 Riser with the waist and head switched to a goof and a ball. Despite with all the different changes, it does retain that 00's sleek design. Loving the details of the ball's cockpit, really nicely painted, and the custom head. Though I must point out the lower torso and the front waist really does seem to be lacking something, and that could be just the front skirts or the back skirts. I know why you did that, to show the ball, but there's something definitely missing. Maybe just a bit of armor would suit that, but just the way it is, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just my nitpicking, I guess. Good use for the GN shields to replace the side skirts and the custom details that goes along inside it. And actually at first I didn't realize that was a GN shields, that was on the waist skirts. I thought that was just completely custom, so I really like the way you added it, and it just goes really well with the suit. The main colors used here are grey, light blue, and very pale purple. Instead of going to the very vibrant blue, white, and red color scheme with a 00, he chose to have something more dull to really does make the LED pop up. Eagle-eyed viewers also probably would have noticed the weapons on his back are attached to his backpack, and those weapon arms just look amazing with that gunmetal look to them. I love the way that you added this because it shows your consideration in terms of functionality and making a unibody look to the Gundam. And since you have a mechanical look and many mechanical parts open, I personally would add a bit more decals to suit the whole mega theme going on. And likewise, the LEDs works very well, especially that you added it all across the inner frame, which looks very good. The power surge is also shared with the rifles through the GN drives. Excellent craftsmanship and very unique imagination. Thank you Mike for starting us off with a very strong start. Up next, we have Lawrence Marasai. I'm definitely loving the Zeon's presence in this episode, and especially with this badass Marasai. If you haven't noticed yet, this is a very heavily weathered kit, and it really does show that this mobile suit has been through a lot. Since we're on the topic, let's look at the painting. The base color is armor green and iron rust colors all over the armor. The patches of iron were well placed, and they're not all placed in one area and in different sizes, which is more realistic. I also love the shading on the edges and between the armors as they look very burnt, and it complements the rust completely. In addition, I would suggest to chip some of the surfaces or to scratch it, especially on the cockpit and the chest. It looks kind of smooth, and rust normally gives a cracked or uneven surface, but on some angles at this point it looks kind of too smooth. But even without it, this looks damn good. You didn't apply a lot of decals, which is the perfect option. This is because for me, when the whole suit is to be rusty or to be applied some sort of weathering, a lot of decals will make it look too crowded or very overwhelming. On the other hand, the panel lines on the shield seems a little too thick on some areas, so I think it's better to narrow it down a little bit next time. The metallic paints on the coils on the head and the waist in contrast is just simply awesome, as they really bring out that sense of purpose. I'm very fond of your rust weathering and clearly shows your research and artistry to pull this off. Excellent execution and very well painted. Thank you, Lauren, and we're looking forward for your next work. Coming up, we have Daniel's Master Grade Crossbone 3 Custom. It's the MG Crossbone with custom details and weapons. I love the symmetrical look that he went for, and that mechanical theme is simply epic. I'm a fan of detail kits like this as I love mechs, and especially when they look more robotic, realistic, and badass. The custom details on the shoulder is in many different parts, but those parts all have their different colors. It really highlights detail and shows some of that inner mechanism of the Gundam. There's a nice addition of decals and good amount of simple weathering. And here's my favorite part of the Gundam, it's that subtle weathering and the off-white, giving it a very nice warmer tone and a battle-hardened look into it. Likewise, be careful with the panel lines and avoid making them too thick so it doesn't overwhelm some of the details. The use of the different grade tones is also just simply spot on, giving it that awesome real grade look. The custom work here really brings a whole new remastered look to the crossbow. And there's nothing really much to say here, it's just an awesome build, and if you were in Gundam build fighters, Mao would be proud. I can see a lot of work and hours has been put into this, and it was worth it. I really love it when builders add their own character onto their Gundams, paired with their excellent ideas and great craftsmanship. Thank you, Daniel, for entering your awesome kit. At number 4, we have Michael's Barbatos Lupus. My initial impression of his work simply reminded me of one of the most badass moments in Gundam. The dynamic pose with the crater and dust particles helps go with the motion, and it supports the image of speed and power. When the Barbatos runs at you like that, you better wish Mika changes his mind. Nice weathering touches and shading throughout the mobile suits, and the Barbatos tends to always look better when it's weathered due to its nature. However, I believe adding a bit of more brownish weathering and some splatters on the legs and feet would greatly increase the realism of the diorama, as the Gundam is very heavy and it will leave craters behind as it runs. And as you know, when you step on something dirty, your shoes will get dirty as well. While we're on the topic, the metallic inner frame, the upper chest armor, and red shoulder pieces are in metallic finishes, and the colors are well spot on. The blend of elegance with the intensity of the Barbatos turned out great. Likewise, I love your painting on the tubes and coils in gold and silver cloths. Normally we would have either kind of reddish, kind of gold, or really bright gold for the claws, but having silver or white is a nice unique blend, and it's very new to me, so that's nice. When parts are highlighted like this, it really brings out one's true form. For the inner frame, the use of a aluminium light gunmetal color is perfect, and as with most IBO kits, they are really very mechanical and with many exposed parts, and so keeping the metallic colors truly suits the Gundam design. The diorama, again, is the star of the show. Nice painting on the different shades for the ground and for the plants. However, I must point out the rocks and tree-like objects seems a little too big, especially when compared next to the Gundam. But that's just me nitpicking, but overall, I can't find anything wrong with this kit, and it's simply amazing. Excellent paint job and consistency throughout the mobile suit, and the idea was very well prepared and very well executed. I know I've been saying a lot of executed a lot, but with all these Gundams in this episode, they are simply that good. This is a great example of one that truly shows the power of the Barbatos. Finally, at number 5, we have Lorenzo's Grimguard. His model is inspired by DC speedster and superhero The Flash. Lorenzo is very fond of the Grimguard slick design and thought that it would suit a speedster look. From someone who watched The Flash, I can approve that you have captured it. When talking about The Flash, the game is all about red and yellow, and just with the first look, you have hit the right mark. Speaking of looks, the base color is a metallic red finish, which is made from chrome silver undercoat, and clear red layers and a matte top coat for the last finish. Nicely done on the metal scratches for the weathering, as is very fitting for someone who fights and runs faster than sound. The scratches, especially for the legs, was nicely executed as you kept a single direction to follow to show motion. Secondly, he customized the skirts and the fins for more articulation and legroom so running faster. Your thoughts are very well adapted to your kit, and if I may, I might use this idea actually for my Grim card too. The maroon in contrast with the red compared to its original black armor and the inner frame gives it a very nice real grade look. For my general preference, I would use a different shaded maroon, red or maybe even brown, for the tubes and the arms and for the legs, because I think if you highlight more of the parts with the different shades of paint, it would make it look more mechanical, just like with most IVO kits. On the other hand though, keeping it like this would help it look sleeker and unibody. Basically, the way it is now, it embodies the Flash from the TV series, but if you make it more mechanical, it would look like the Flash from the movie Justice League. This is an amazing piece, and despite without any groundbreaking customs, it hit the right mark for me and captured what you were aiming for. This is one to keep notes of, as I can imagine we would have villain types on their way. Thank you Lorenzo for your entry, and we are looking forward for your next work. And there you have it, our 5 builders for this episode and their 5 amazing Gundams. Let us know in the comments below which one you like the most, and the winner will be announced on the next episode. If you want to be part of Gunpla Showcase and show off your Gunpla, simply follow the description. That's it for today guys, thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you on the next one.